Good morning and welcome to the Underbrush, a Liger Studios podcast where we uncover the secrets of marketing. I'm joined here this morning by Dennis Powell of Powell Property Group. Dennis, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Dakota.
Yeah, man. It's bright outside, so I can hardly see you, but I know you look good.
That's the way I like it.
Well, cool, man. We're starting just a little behind. Traffic is back, so everybody add 15 minutes to your travel time again. We're back to normal. At least as close as we can be.
Yeah. I was surprised coming down here because I started dating my wife in '73. We'd get in her Carmen Ghia and drive at 35 miles an hour up to what the end was at Windward and back on a Friday night and never pass another car.
Oh my gosh. The good old days.
Yeah, good old days. I had actually had a motocross practice track about 300 yards behind us. What is now a detention pond. There used to be a little pond or a lake there.
Yeah.
And perimeter mall was just cow pastures, and it just blows my mind to come down here now.
Well, Dennis, you were a bit of a daredevil back in the heyday, all kinds of things. So tell us a little bit about your personal background, and then we'll hop into what you do professionally.
Well, I moved here, and I was born in California and raised in Michigan, Wisconsin, and moved here in '67. Mm-hmm. Went to Chamblee High School, played some sports there. Wonderful experience. My junior and senior year, actually worked as a DeKalb County garbage man in the good old days.
Wow.
When you would get the 50-gallon barrel and walk behind the houses. You'd get 3 at a time.
Oh, wow.
But it was brutal work. So it was Kurt Unger, myself, 2 rich, quote-unquote, Dunwoody boys, and 80 black men. And that first day was brutal. I came back and just laid on our hardwood floors and passed out. But I went to work.
Give me something horizontal.
It was just, and my mom said, "Get out of here."
Yeah.
So
I'm
went
sure
back.
You smelled great.
Oh yeah, because of course they gave us, the new guys, the barrels with the holes in the bottom, so you stuff rags in them, so the wet garbage, is dripped all over us. But I went back the next day, and the best boss I ever had, Raymond Sanders, said, "You're back." I said, "Yes, sir, I'm not quitting." He says, he gave me the first lesson in entrepreneurship. He said, "You don't understand how this works. When you are done with your route, you're paid for 8 hours." Boom. We were off and running then.
Yeah.
We'd be done by noon every day. Fridays was 10:30. We're hitting the river over there at the Shoals.
Right.
At what's now 400 going over it. And that was my first taste of entrepreneurship. And then after that, actually worked for 2 summers on Colony Square, at 14th Street and Peachtree. We were right below the iron workers on the concrete forming crew. And that was an interesting job. I had to join the laborers union. So every Friday, Big Al, the labor boss, would come to get his dues. "I know you Powell boys," it was my brother and me, "I know you Powell boys are up there. Come here and give me our dues." He weighed about 300. So we would always stay 1 stairwell ahead of him.
Yeah.
He never did catch us for 2 years. But those were some great jobs. I was playing football at Appalachian State, and actually went to visit some friends at Auburn, and I came down and saw this guy working on them weird-looking motorcycle. I said, "What is this?" He goes, "This is a motocross bike. This is 1971.
Okay.
I go, "What's that?" He says, "I'm racing tomorrow. Come check it out." I went there, and it blew me away. So I went back to my defensive back coach. He was Fisher DeBerry, who went on to be 25-year Hall of Fame coach at Air Force.
Wow.
I said, "Coach, I got to quit football because I'm going to become a motocross racer." He goes, "What is that?" So that started me on, lost my scholarship, stupid short-term decision, but good life lesson.
Sure.
So I ended up going to 4 different schools, went down to Auburn for a while, decided I wanted to major in real estate, so I transferred to Georgia State.
Okay.
That was a bunch of old fuddy-dud brokers and old guys like me now.
Yeah.
That wasn't any fun. So I transferred for a while to Georgia and then went back to Georgia State and finished up. So I was on the 7-year plan.
Yeah, you're a professional student.
Oh, yeah. But I learned quickly D's do not transfer.
Yeah.
So did that, and then I was trying to help pay my way through school, so I actually started pushing a lawnmower.
Okay.
And from there, when I graduated, there was a huge real estate depression. It almost brought down what was then C&S Bank. And so I started pushing lawnmower, and that steadily grew into one of the largest commercial landscape design companies in Atlanta during the late 70s and 80s.
Wow.
And then this is kind of funny because we were actually watching some land in Peachtree Corners, which is Jones Bridge Road, when it was a dirt road.
Okay.
So we went to visit our neighbors when we first moved into a rental house. It was for free. We were watching it for the bank, and went down to see our neighbors about a quarter mile down West Jones Bridge Road, and they were cooking a hog's head on a wood stove.
Awesome.
1975.
Wow, that's so cool.
So I got plenty of those old stories. So nonetheless, the commercial landscape design company grew. I sold it in like 96, 97.
Okay.
And decided, well, yeah, I'm going to build an office building. Yeah, why not? So an Alpharetta went and got me a loan and built me an office building, and figured out I kind of liked the development of it, but I did not like construction.
Yeah.
So from there, that took me a couple of years, learned a lot, and then in '99 I said, well, I might as well get my real estate license since I've never had it, because all this time I had been doing commercial deals,
Right.
buying and putting my landscape company there. Like in '81, I think I bought the corner at Jones Bridge and State Bridge Road in Johns Creek. I got a picture of me sitting in that intersection with nothing but woods around me.
Yeah.
And then decided I'd get my real estate license, so I joined J.B. Bader, a good friend of mine, and started a motorcycle dealership where I designed the building. It was called Moto 400.
Okay.
It was up in Dawsonville, but I designed it to be a 10-tenant retail building,
Okay.
not a motorcycle dealership. That was '07. The first year we did $7 million.
Wow.
Then the bottom dropped out. So what saved us was I ended up selling that to Northeast Georgia Medical Center. But what was cool about that is that was one of the first buildings that I laid out in the old factory look. I had a bunch of cool stuff in it, including cannonballs from when Sherman came through town with powder burns on the wall, all sorts of cool stuff. And ended up selling that to Northeast Georgia. Helped start a bank, Carter Barrett's Community Business Bank. So I served on a loan committee, gave me just enough knowledge to make me dangerous.
Sure.
And then, let's see, what else? We started 3 developments, office/flex developments.
Right.
1 north of Gainesville and 2 each, one on one side of 400 at McFarland and 1 on the other. We ended up losing 2 of the 3. By sheer determination, we held on to 1, McFarland Station, which has turned into, after 12 years, a wonderful success.
Right.
So I think that's getting me up to today. I'm sure I'm a product of the 60s and 70s, so I'm sure I forgot a bunch in there.
So today you're a commercial real estate developer, or in commercial real estate?
Well, this is what's kind of interesting about our background. We're just a small boutique, but we have a bunch of hot rods that know all aspects of the industry. Land acquisition, development, construction,
Okay.
leasing, sales, office, flex, warehouse, retail. We've got a person that specializes in every category. And sometime I'll have you come to one of our Powell Property Group meetings on a Tuesday morning, because it's a scream fest. But it's a pretty cool company, because there's nothing, this is my deal, it's our deal.
Sure.
Everybody works together, and we're pretty tight.
Love that. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for one of those.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. We gotta, sometimes some of the neighbors get a little upset because we are screaming in there, having a good time. So
that's how you know the meeting is good.
Oh yeah. Oh, excuse me, just a second. Hello? Yes. Okay, I'm on my way. Sorry, I got a deal that's blowing up. I got to run. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Moments later, more moments later.
Out of here.
I should have let you lag a little bit more.
Out of here, man. No. You're picking on me because my hair is blonde. I get it. Uh-huh.
No.
I was very confused.
No, I got hair to match, but it's from 75, baby.
Yeah. All right. So welcome back to the Underbrush. I forgot it's April 1st, so that was April Fool's. Thank you, Dennis.
There you
Thank
go.
you for that. I needed that laugh this morning.
I told you we have fun.
Yeah. So for those of you that missed it, Dennis just got us both really good. He did not have a call. Instead, he walked out, turned around, and said, "Today is April 1st, is it not?"
All right,
You got me all jumbled up. All right, so let's
that
jump
was
back
the
in.
intent. Come on.
You got me all jumbled up. Let's get back in. So
Yeah, do it.
we had talked about getting into the big topic of this for today, and that's that small business owners become your own landlord, and then insight for the small investor interested in commercial real estate. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. I've been doing this a long time, and it amazes me that small business guys have such nerve and guts to start their own business, but when it comes to becoming a landlord, owning their own piece of real estate, they're really nervous. They just don't realize the benefits there and how easy it is, right? Especially now. Let's start with a little dirty secret about commercial real estate. It's the last unregulated industry where you can make pretty good money.
Yeah.
Insurance is highly regulated. Banking's highly, stocks are highly regulated. Even residential real estate's highly regulated, what you can and can't do. Commercial real estate is the Wild West.
Wow.
I mean, and because of that, it kind of draws what I'll call them opportunists.
It's very kind.
Yeah, very kind of me. And so you've got to be super careful. And especially if you're first timing it, don't do it on your own. And regrettably, you don't have your next door neighbor who's a residential agent try to negotiate commercial deals with you. Number one, they're not supposed to. According to the Code of Ethics, they're not allowed to practice anything outside of their area of expertise.
Okay.
But this is all that we've done for all these years, is help small business guys. I don't go downtown with a Rolex on and riding a Jaguar. I'm in a 96 Ford pickup truck.
Yeah.
Going up there and helping small business guys. So what they have to understand, small business owners, small banks, you are their bread and butter. They are bending over backwards and will battle for your business to buy your own real estate. They know if you've been in business 2 to 3 years, you're secure, you've got good credit. So I would get in touch, or we work with a lot of banks, get with your commercial broker and have him recommend some bankers to go talk to, preferably the small banks, because you are their bread and butter, and you'll get the same banker for years instead of weeks.
Right.
But some of the benefits are you are the landlord. You control your rent. You control your rent increases. You buy these properties personally in an LLC, and you lease them back to your companies. So there's tax benefits to that.
Sure.
I can't address that. Your CPA can, though. Yeah. Probably the biggest benefit I can see is you eventually pay off your commercial real estate that you run your business out of. It's paid for. It's time for you to retire, and you've got an asset there that's a big part of your retirement program. So that is probably, to me, one of the most compelling reasons to do it. There's also some tax benefits to it.
Sure.
So just diving into it a little bit deeper, we've talked about the banks and how they're really ready to help people replace lease rents with mortgage rents. You can get an SBA loan for as little as 10% down, and that'll cover just the real estate. There's other programs that you can buy the real estate, and along with that, your equipment, and sometimes even starting capital. So there's different programs. The SBA program is kind of unique in that the SBA guarantees a portion of your total loan package, and so it lowers the risk for the bank. So the banks are more willing to lend. They do
Right.
take longer to process. So again, consult your small banker, and he'll kind of guide you what is the best way to go.
Sure. Yeah, stick to the experts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There is, just so you understand, commercial loans are a little bit different than mortgages. There's not 30-year amortization. You'll usually do 20-year amortization.
Okay.
You're going to pay a little bit higher, prime plus 1, prime plus 1.5. And usually the banks will generally lock them in for 3 years. What I'm recommending right now, because I have a belief that inflation is coming, that I would pay a little bit higher and lock it in for 7 to 10 years if they'll let you.
Okay.
As much as you can.
Sure.
Because I feel like my gut's telling me it's the 70s are coming again. We've got some pretty strong undercurrents of inflation coming. The T-bills are going up. 10-year T-bills have gone up dramatically.
Wow.
So, and they're expected to go like double by the end of this year.
Oh my gosh.
So, so that covers basically. Oh, the other thing. Advice. You will get probably a less of an interest rate by going to one of the big national banks.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what you need for a small business is service. Everybody's going to run into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to need help. Everybody's going to need it. And you're going to get that from your small bank. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't go chasing interest rates.
Sure.
Now here's probably the greatest advantage for a small business owner. As their business grows, or maybe it's retreating a little bit, when you go to the bank and you need to get a second note, you use that equity you've built up in your commercial property and not your home for collateral.
Right.
Big difference.
Sure.
Big difference. Gives you a lot of freedom.
Is this a lesson you learned from prior?
Oh,
from 2007,
yeah.
2008?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We all learned lessons. And what's kind of funny, I was talking to another broker that went through that period. There's not a whole lot left. And he says, the young guys now, I sound like an old goat, I am, but these young guys now, they just didn't go through it.
Yeah.
And it was hell. I really battled it. I didn't declare bankruptcy. My partners did not. We probably should have, looking back now. But we felt like we were doing the right thing. But I've still got hangover from that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can
14,
imagine.
15 years later. So, but I'm still here. I'm still alive. Still
Yep.
doing, fun stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, my parents, my dad.
Yes.
So we obviously went through the same thing, maybe
Yes.
on a different side, but still in the same spectrum. So while us young guys may not remember it from the standpoint that you did, we were still affected enough. But I think that's so interesting, and I'm a bit of a history buff, so I don't know a lot. There's so much to know, but I know at least from what I feel enough. And it's interesting how humanity continues to repeat the same cycle, and it makes you wonder, is it because we just didn't experience what mom and dad experienced? Or is it because we didn't read about what mom and dad did and we were too young to understand it and we think we know everything, and then it's the same cycle that repeats?
You're on it. I'll tell you something kind of funny. I'm a boomer. We complain about the Generation X, Y, Z, all these lazy. Well, it's funny because our parents were the greatest generation.
Yeah.
And we were a bunch of dope-smoking hippies. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that.
Yeah.
And most of us turned out okay, and a lot, I know, didn't. But
Sure.
Every generation grows up, especially when you start having kids.
Yeah.
And then double, especially when you start paying taxes.
Yeah.
So things come into a different light.
Right.
I was on the very first Earth Day, Appalachian State, had the black armband, we were running around, woohoo!
Yeah.
And had a great time I was a participant in the first Earth Day, so, we went through a whole lot then. We also went through my senior class. We were the last class to have the lottery to go to Vietnam. So I've got a lot of buddies that went there, and that's a whole different story. They were not considered heroes like our military is considered now, but that's that gets on to other topics.
Part 2 with Dennis.
yeah.
So you previously mentioned the likely oncoming rise of inflation in the market, can you speak a little bit to how commercial real estate is doing in the current market as a result of COVID? I know that was something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Sorry. This is very interesting. As a matter of fact, yesterday's Wall Street Journal is speaking. I've been hearing undercurrents of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday's Wall Street Journal, office space subleases flood the market. Companies cut rental needs in expectation that working from home will continue. I had heard in last August there was about 1.1 million square feet. Now, I'm not an expert. This is all hearsay.
Sure.
In Midtown and downtown trying to get subleased. Last December, it was over 4 million.
Wow.
And I'm coming here today looking at these parking lots empty. I think these companies, these big companies, and there's a whole article, it was in the business and finance section, B section of the Wall Street Journal, just talking about how these big companies have figured out their employees like working from home.
Yeah.
They prefer working at home 2 to 3 days a week, but then come to the office to get that centralization and that synergy going.
Sure.
So they've discovered it's cheaper to go ahead and get out of their office space in downtown and come to the suburbs where their employees are, get cheaper real estate. That's a part of our success at our McFarland station. Those office condos, we just can't keep up with the demand. I've never seen anything like this.
Wow.
And all my co-brokers, we do a lot on the 400 corridor.
Okay.
So a lot of my co-brokers are telling me the same thing. They're like, it's the proverbial drinking out of the fire hose.
Sure.
Except I'm saying it's coming out of my nose and ears too.
Yeah.
So it's coming everywhere. But and a consequence of that is actually the rents up our way are kind of lagging construction costs, because construction costs have really exploded due to really all the developable land. The nice square flat rectangles are gone.
Wow.
So as you go up 400, actually as you get towards Dawson, you get above 369, your grading costs can exceed your land acquisition costs.
Wow.
If you go over towards East Atlanta, you've got Stone Mountain everywhere. So all the good pieces have been taken up. That plus municipalities have really increased the cost to do development, increase the buffers, increase the trees. Permitting takes forever. Inspection, zoning really takes a long time. People want nice places to live.
Sure.
But it's taken a long time. It takes 18 to 24 months to get anything going. So that's just running up costs.
Yeah. Are you seeing the early cost rise falling into a higher rent?
Well, that's what the issue is right now. Rents are lagging slightly.
Okay.
Construction costs. So we think that that's going to catch up rather quickly. Up, I would say, in the Roswell North market, where 5 years ago, $12 a foot in office condos, call it small office space, $12 a foot was the rate. That's 19 now. And we think it's going to, and that's still not where it needs to be, because construction costs, especially this year, everybody's heard about lumber shooting up.
Sure.
But steel's gone up. Copper, they call it Dr. Copper, that's the prognosticator of what's going on in the economy. All right, that's shot up. So everything's going up. The 10-year T-bill, like we talked about earlier, is going up and expected to go higher. Inflation, I think, this is according to Kiplinger's, which is a great newsletter.
I just have to say, you are the most prepared guest that I've had thus far. Normally I walk in here without any notes.
Well,
and so this is great. Don't let me take you off your wagon.
No. I mean, I just and everybody knows I'm usually the most unprepared dude on the planet.
Thought you'd try something new on April Fool's.
There you go. I'm the master of winging it. Some of it sticks and some of it doesn't. But they're calling for inflation 2.5% higher than at the end of 21. So, and the Fed has always targeted 2%. It's always lagged behind what their target is. So if they're going 2.5%, and they're still saying we're not raising interest rates, that when countries get into huge deficits, the best way to get rid of them is to inflate. inflate your way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But inflation is real estate's friend.
How so?
Commercial real estate, you're buying a hard asset that is going up in value as your dollars you're paying it off go cheaper. So it's a good opportunity right now. We're seeing a lot of money starting to pour in again from across overseas. And I suspect if the current administration continues with, trying to make some friends with China again, I think we'll get a flood of Chinese money again if they can work all this, chest beating out.
Sure.
And just become one with the planet.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more Chinese money coming in because they know there's no more stable place than the U.S.
Yeah.
So,
very interesting.
yeah, I don't know how much time we've got. I don't want to hog all your time. We got
No.
5 minutes.
You're fine. We can. We've
Okay.
got about 8 minutes left. So, I'm curious. I've got down here, and this may just be a blonde moment. What is Bank Oreo Specialist?
Oh, okay. That's well. Okay, so our I'm a baby boomer. I don't even know how to silence my phone hardly. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Like I said, we're just a small boutique, and we've got some really hardworking, but people that really care about clients. We grab them, and we become lifelong friends with them. But we can handle all aspects of commercial real estate. We can handle representation with municipalities.
Okay.
We know how to work with them. As a matter of fact, your dad and I have a meeting with City of Milton officials next week.
Okay.
So we understand that they have a tough job and everybody's yelling at them, and we respect what they do.
Sure.
And then the bank, we are a bank OREO specialist. So OREO is other real estate owned. In other words, that's their foreclosed on loan portfolios.
Okay.
So basically, when the bottom dropped out, that's what kept our small company afloat. We started representing companies, and we developed I'm bragging a little bit, it's not me, it's our team,
Sure.
really developed a great reputation for returning. These small banks could not just dump real estate.
Right.
They had to go according to current appraisal.
Okay.
So our company would return 98% of current appraisal, which back then was brutal. I mean, there were shopping centers in downtown Alpharetta that were selling for $80 a foot.
Wow.
Now they're triple that at least.
Wow.
But we would go in because we understood small investors.
Sure.
And so we were able to work out deals with the banks that would give favorable financing to help these guys buy these properties, these distressed properties. We've still got a few overhang, but lately, some of them were some of these tough properties that, I mean, we're getting full price right now, no arguing. So that's kind of what the trend is. We were thinking that maybe retail would have some problems with that, and that's still the small retail centers. That's to be seen. I don't know if it's going to be as bad as we thought. But again, some of our banks, and you have to be pretty straight up if you're working with banks because they're federally chartered and audited by state and feds. So
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. It's not for bozos. So you've got to walk the line, which is kind of hard for us to do sometimes. No,
Sure.
I'm just teasing. So, yeah, that's OREO specialists.
Okay. Well, that was a blonde moment because I read Oreo and I got hungry.
Oh yeah, yeah, especially a fried one. No,
Yeah.
no, but I love what we do. I'm 68. I should have retired a long time ago. I don't want to. I love this business. I've got 6 kids. I got my 12th grandbaby on the way.
Wow, congratulations.
That's only half my kids producing. We got to get more of those. I call them the screamers. They come over, I sit in the middle, and they just scream. But yeah, I'm still racing dirt bikes. I still like to steep ski. I like to go out west and powder ski. I can't do those. Groomed runs, but actually the powder's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just have a great time. I like keeping everything WFO topped out to the max, wide freaking open.
Love it.
And we just love helping people.
Love that. So I did want to ask you, because this is a marketing podcast.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
How are you personally, how are you as a company marketing yourselves? Are you strictly referral based? Do you have any kind of social media aspects? Tell me a little bit about how you guys are using your marketing.
Well, I'm a boomer.
Mm-hmm.
I write everything down. Here is my week at a glance. I am woefully behind the times. I have some people that work with me that pound me all the time.
Yeah.
We've got to get a better presence.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that what Liger does?
That's exactly what we do.
What now? Explain to me give me the elevator speech to a dumb boomer what you do.
Yeah. So, in an elevator essence, I would say we are marketing as a service. So what that means is we intend to become a part of our client's company and become their marketing department. So anything that they need as far as marketing, that's what we provide. So albeit video in a podcast scenario, whether it's online in an awareness scenario through social media aspects, through search engine optimization, any kind of ads, anything digital property that is going to bolster your name and your company, we have something to do with a part of that, or
Whew.
all of that.
I'll tell you, that is already. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I realize we are word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I definitely need to learn about.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would call though.
Yeah. I know somebody.
Okay, maybe we can work that out.
I know a guy.
I do want to say a special thanks to Steve Beecham, a
Yeah.
motivational speaker,
Mm-hmm.
a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I called up Steve. I said, Steve, what am I going to talk about on this thing? He
Yeah.
says, don't talk to the industry professionals. Talk to Joe Normal.
Yeah.
You know, if they're interested in getting into commercial real estate, talk to them.
Mhm.
And I took his guidance. He's a very smart man,
Yes, he is.
and he's a lot of fun to be with too. I've been on many a dirt bike trip with Steve Beecham.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know he got on the bike.
oh yeah, he's fast. There's a big contingent of dirt bikers in Roswell and Alpharetta. We've got Judge Hansford, who's Roswell and Milton's judge. We've got
Okay.
Mayor Lockwood, who's the fastest mayor in America.
Really?
We have
I
Todd
didn't know
Levana.
Joe was a
Oh
motorcycle
yeah,
guy.
oh yeah, he's real good.
Wow.
Fast, but he crashes a lot.
Well, convince him to come on the show. I've been trying to get him.
I think he is. He's a
Okay,
lot of
good.
fun. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And Todd Levant, Forsyth County Commissioner. He's fast.
Wow.
He's fast on a bike. There's a bunch of people, and we've ridden from Mexico to Canada out west on the Continental Divide.
Wow.
We've ridden the Baja. We've ridden all over Colorado. But it's kind of Russian roulette. You spin the barrel, and who's going to be taken to the hospital?
Mm.
Which is kind of goofy. But you see people, when you're out there and you see people in that situation where they may be hurt,
Mhm.
you see people, dirt bikers are pretty calm and can handle most anything.
Really?
Types of people, yeah. We've had some, broken arms and legs and normal stuff like that, and we've had some serious injuries, but everybody survived. We leave no man behind.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we'll have breakdowns of bikes miles from anything. But we've also seen some pretty cool things. The wild horses out in
That is cool.
Wyoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had young antelope running alongside of us,
Mm-hmm.
watching us, kind of keeping pace with us, having fun.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of things. Glaciers, it's just a beautiful way to get out. That would take months of hiking or weeks of riding a horse to see some of these things.
Sure.
So,
Well, cool. Well, Dennis, it's been such a pleasure to have you on this morning. I mean, we've gone all the way around the world with everything that we talked about. And I did want to ask you one last question. For anybody that's watching, what's the best way that they can get in contact with you guys?
our website, thank you for asking,
Yeah.
commercial400.com.
Okay.
You can get in touch with us there and kind of see what we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Underbrush. I'm your host, Dakota Ward, and I was joined here this morning by Dennis Powell. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Dakota.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it again.
Awesome.